Once upon a time, in a valley where the river moved like a ribbon of glass, there lived a young woman named Ilara who made lanterns. Her shop sat at the corner of the market, a warm place of brass and glass where light seemed to learn how to be gentle. People came for her lanterns because they lasted, because they were mended with care, and because Ilara always carved a tiny, hopeful symbol on the base, a little star for the traveler, a small leaf for the gardener, a tiny book for the teacher. Ilara kept a quiet promise to herself. Every evening, after she closed the shop, she would walk to the old bridge and hang one lantern on its rail. She did not charge for this lantern. She did not announce it. She simply believed that a single light left in a public place could steady someone's step, warm a hand, or remind a lost person that the town was awake and watching. People called it a quaint habit. Ilara called it a duty. The valley had its troubles. The mill on the far side of the river had closed the year before, and with it went steady wages and easy optimism. The market grew quieter. The bell that used to call workers in the morning rang less often. Families tightened budgets and learned to measure joy in small things. Some nights the bridge was empty and the lanterns swung alone in the wind. Other nights, when the fog rolled in thick and the river forgot its edges, the lanterns were the only proof that someone still cared. One winter, a storm came that the valley had not seen in many years. Rain hammered the roofs and the river rose like a living thing. The bridge, old and proud, groaned under the weight of water and wind. The town's power failed, lamps went dark. The market closed its shutters. In the chaos, a child named Jonah, who had been sent to fetch medicine for his mother, lost his way on the path home. He could not see the stones beneath his feet. He could not hear the river over the storm. He walked until his legs trembled and his courage thinned. Ilara, who had been mending a cracked globe by lamplight, felt the storm in her bones and wrapped a lantern in oilcloth. She stepped into the rain and climbed to the bridge. The wind tried to steal the flame, but she cupped it and hung it on the rail. The light shivered, then steadied. From the fog, Jonah saw a small, stubborn glow and followed it like a promise. The lantern did not stop the storm, but it made a path through it. Jonah found his way home, medicine in hand, and the town breathed a little easier. After the storm, the town gathered to repair what the wind had broken. People who had once kept to themselves found themselves passing tools and stories across fences. The baker who had been thinking of closing his oven began leaving a pot of soup outside his door for anyone who needed it. The retired teacher started an evening reading circle in the library because parents who had lost work needed someone to watch their children while they searched for new jobs. The bridge was mended not by a single crew but by neighbors who showed up with nails, hot tea, and hands that remembered how to work together. Ilara's lanterns became more than light. They became a ritual that taught the town how to be steady. Children learned to make small lanterns of their own and left them by the market stalls. A fisherman who had once been proud and solitary began to bring extra fish to the widow across the lane. A young mechanic who had been planning to leave town stayed long enough to teach an after-school class on fixing bicycles. The habit of showing up, of leaving a light, of offering a hand spread like a gentle tide. Years later, when a new family moved into the valley and asked why the town felt different from the places they had known, an old woman pointed to the bridge and said, "Because someone kept lighting the way." Ilara, older now and with silver at her temples, still carved a tiny star on each lantern. She never sought praise. She never wanted her name on a plaque. Her reward was quieter, the sight of neighbors who no longer waited for permission to be kind. A child who learned to read by lamplight, a market that hummed again because people had learned to trade time and skill, not just money. One spring, when Ilara could no longer climb the bridge herself, the town surprised her. On a morning that smelled of wet earth and new leaves, every lantern on the rail was lit by someone else, by the baker, the mechanic, the teacher, the fisherman, and the children who had once followed a single glow through a storm. They had learned the lessons she had given without words, that small, steady acts of care stitch a community together, and that light, when shared, multiplies. Ilara sat by her window and watched the bridge glow. She thought of the first lantern she had hung, years before, when the town still felt like a collection of separate houses. She thought of the nights she had been tired and still walked out into the rain. She thought of the way a single light had led a child home. She smiled, not because she had been heroic, but because she had been consistent. The town had learned to be brave in small ways.